I'm going to give you an idea, and I beg your forgiveness, it's going to be a very quick idea, of a set of paintings that I did recently. They were completed in 2013. The paintings are called Hagar the Stranger. They are 16 paintings. Each painting is 6 by 5 feet, and it's an exploration into the life and fortunes of Hagar, who is known as the Mitzris, who is the Egyptian woman, and who, of course, was Abraham's other wife. She's enormously important to me because, first of all, she's a bit maligned in the Torah, and she is frequently ignored. But we'll get to that. Let me just say that the reason why I chose her and kind of do the work I do, it's about encountering the text of the Torah and the Talmud, and almost all things deeply Jewish are things that I am constantly encountering. But when I encounter it, very frequently, my reaction is, well, what's wrong here? What doesn't ring true? Either ring true to my modern sensibility, or ring true to what I would hope to be a biblical or Jewish sensibility. Namely, I'm looking to make trouble. So, I interrogate it not just as an individual, but also in a context. It's a conversation. It's a conversation with commentators over the last, say, 2,000 years, and commentators now. And also, I frequently, when I'm working with it, it's a conversation with existing tropes, different ideas of visual ideas where I find echoes, and not at all exclusively Jewish. So let's see here. I'm going to show you quickly the 8 diptychs, and I'll just tell you what they are. Let's see here. Okay, good. No, we went too far. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is the first one. This is into slavery, leaving Egypt. There's a midrash that says that Hagar was given to Sarah once Sarah, remember, was abducted by Pharaoh, right? And then God was about to really punish Pharaoh, and so Pharaoh really was very happy that he didn't die in this whole thing, and decided to give his own daughter to Sarah as a maidservant, which, of course, let's get the language correct, as a slave. Therefore, she's introduced into the family. Well, you know, Sarah couldn't have children. That's the right-hand image. And so Sarah has the idea how to fix this. Not that she needed children, but she remembers God saying that Abraham's going to be the father of a great people. Well, if Sarah, the wife, doesn't have children, there's a problem there. Therefore, let's try Hagar. Okay? Then the next... There we go, good. Then the next diptychs are Abraham and Hagar in bed. Well, you know, when you're trying to deal with a text, you want to be able to visualize it. You want it to come alive. And after many different tries of exactly how this would happen, this is the image that I got. We'll talk about that later. And then, of course, as all things biblical, Hagar immediately becomes pregnant. But something else is happening, especially in this image, as far as I'm concerned, and the biblical text seems to echo it. In fact, Abraham seems to fall in love with her. We have to move on. Okay. Well, okay, so they're not getting along. So what happens is Sarah kicks Hagar, the pregnant Hagar, out of the house. Hagar runs away. An amazing thing happens. Okay? I have 3 paintings about this. The one on the right is actually the first, and that is an annunciation. You say, what do you mean an annunciation? That's, Gabriel and Mary. They got it from us. In fact, it's the first annunciation, and in fact, I think it's a more meaningful one. So here's the second annunciation and the third annunciation. We're not going to really discuss that right now, because that's also going to be discussed a little later. All right? So after encountering God, after being spoken to by God, Hagar then goes back home, because that's what the angel tells her to do, and she has to deal with Sarah again, but then finally little Ishmael is born, and that's the painting on the right. Okay, well, little Ishmael grows up, and little Isaac grows up, and they're not getting along. As a matter of fact, they're fighting. And here you see in the left-hand painting, they're fighting, and I decided to make it they're fighting on the edge of a pool. Therefore, it's really a dangerous kind of fight. But of course, Hagar's not doing anything because she's really pissed at Sarah, and Sarah's just going crazy, and Abraham has no idea what to do. Finally, they're exiled from the house, and finally, when the water runs out, Hagar realizes, oh my God, my son is going to die. He's under a tree, and she calls out to God, and lo and behold, God answers Hagar again. So The paintings go on. Now, this is totally non-textual, but you notice in the text of the Torah, what happens is Hagar and Ishmael are exiled from the house. But as far as I'm concerned, they were really happy to be out of there. They would be happy to be out of a house. Then, in fact, you've got God telling Abraham to kill his only son, and of course, the effect of that effectively kills Sarah. And then, finally, textually, Hagar and Ishmael go down to Egypt. She's returning to her people to get a wife for her son. The final two paintings are after Sarah has died. Abraham returns to Hagar rather mysteriously. In the Bible, she's called Keturah, but the Midrashim say this is Hagar. Okay, and then finally we have, again, is the burial of Abraham. Again, non-textual, but how could Hagar not be at the burial of the man that gave her 6 children?